Coach Mathew, thank you very much for your time. I know you are rushing to check out the little ones there after a training session. The season has started. You've played 2 games, lost 1, drawn 1. What are your thoughts so far?
It's going to be a good season, I can say that. But the challenge is now with the matriculants is a bit of, I think it affects quite a lot of our teams. We've had to give 6 of our players off until they finish exams. So it's a huge challenge, but we have a young squad. We have quite a few of under 17s coming up, stepping up, preparing already for the engine for next year. So it's a good mix. We've prepared, I think, very well. In terms of the challenge is that they're young, and obviously we've got to be patient with them, and there's not much pressure on them, which is a good thing. So, and I am actually looking forward to tomorrow's game with the number 1 team on the log. So obviously motivation there is just the mere fact you're playing a number 1 on the log. So we're ready, and I think we will put up a good show this season as well in the top 8.
You've just mentioned that, Coach, you're bringing a young side in preparation for the Engine Knockout Challenge next year. And I get a sense that with Wits the focus is much on development. Unlike other teams, they want to win. They even bring older players because the league allows them to. Because the focus for them is just to win. Does this confirm that with you guys it's just purely development?
With us it is, and the beauty of this is that we have an under 20 team which is Kudus, and it's a mix of 18 and 19-year-olds, 17-year-olds preparing for the engine and that. Then we have an 18-year-old team, under 18 strictly, Wits University playing in the green stream. Finished 4th last year with strictly under 18s, and they played in the engine, knocked out by Kaizer Chiefs in the quarterfinals. Beautiful game. Everyone is still talking about them. Pirates signed 5 of those boys into the MDC. 3 are at Kokune and 1 is at Sundowns. So obviously when we talk of development, that is for us. Yes, the results is to stay in the league, not get relegated with these boys, because we have faith in them. And I think the key thing that you've touched as well, the sad part is when we play a team and it takes out the under 21s in the first 5 minutes of the game, they start taking out of the 5, you find out 3 are already gone. Then they start putting senior players, but is at SAB level. It's a bit saddening because we look at this league as a development league, and for us, I think when we've achieved what we've achieved in the past years with this concept of focusing on development, the results will take care of itself. I mean, the first year when this team got promoted, they were regional champs of Nedbank in their first year in the SAB. So with the youngsters that were there, and part of those youngsters have all graduated to ABC. We have 1 at JDR, Glad, at 19 years old. So at Lerumo we have 3, senior team we have 3 players graduating from that team. So it is our focus to work on development, and I think that is what I think is special about us. We pride ourselves. When I go into a game, I don't even check cards because I have under 21s, and if they want to check, they can do so. But for me, teams, the senior players, it brings the best out of these boys. There's no better way to develop them than at that level.
I often ask development coaches this question of finding the balance between, yes, we are purely developing, but we must try and instill winning mentality. We must not just that you go out there, play, develop, learn these techniques, tactics and so on, but also go out there and try to win. How do you find the balance between the two?
It's beautiful because, I mean, if you look at last season, the top 8 teams couldn't beat us. We were the first team to beat UJ in their quest when they were on the top of the log. KK Stars couldn't beat us. SSU in Fiat, they couldn't beat us. So as they grow, the competitiveness is there in them. And as I said to you, the key thing with us is take care of the development part. The results will take care of themselves. If the boys are instilled with the right foundation and the proper basics, I can guarantee you, I'll even enter these boys in the Discovery Tournament this season in the open age group, because that's where they learn and that's where they grow in terms of development and winning as well, because it's a natural nature of a human being to be competitive, and these boys are competitive. Even at training, if you see the amount of aggression they have and the way they play, they know they play against big boys. So it's just a good thing that naturally when you've taken care of development, the winning part stays in a balance. Hence I said to you, the main thing and the focus is that we don't get relegated. And we've been finishing in the top 8, top 5, and we've maintained it for this, and being moved into the blue stream, we still maintain to be in the top 8.
Coach, many football lovers across the country were saddened by the end of existence of Wits University, and some of us were worried about the development factor, because we knew that the team invested a lot in development. So I'm glad when I'm here I see development still continues, besides the fact that the PSL status is gone. How are you guys managing that?
It was a painful period for us, because I think a lot of, if you looked at the junior structure, I think Bidvest were the strongest. You went to Engine, winning the Engine twice in a row, following years. Future champs, when it was still here, they were winning and they were qualifying all the years. So when those boys were lost, and some came back home, which was the nice part, that Wits Juniors was never part of that deal. So we continued where we left off. And I mean, if I look at on my right already, I've got 2 boys that came back from Bidvest, but now they've gone back to Sundowns. Sundowns has taken 2 of them as well. So it was sad, but I think the part that, as you said, is that we are looking at rebuilding, going back to the PSL. So obviously with the resource that we have at juniors, it should be able to give us the right platform for the boys to also showcase that this team can take the ABC team to PSL in the next 2 years, if it's properly nurtured and groomed, not rushed, and we will succeed. I think the quality that we have, I mean, if you hear the noise on the C field, the under 12s are taking on the under 13s, and they've just scored the under 12s. It's because the development is there, and the resource that we have the capability of coming back with these boys.
Okay, last one, Coach. You're involved in youth development. What is your assessment of football development in South Africa in general? Are we heading in the right direction, or are we still lacking a bit?
I think there's a lot of talking that needs to happen. I think for one, you look at our national structures, you ask yourself, if a boy is being called up and then on the club side it says unattached, and you wonder, where are we finding these boys? And secondly, the under 15s, where have we thrown them into? There's no tournament nationally in terms of these boys to get into a tournament, but we are saying we have national tournaments that we need to prepare these boys. The mentality of a tournament and of a league is totally different. So there's a lot of workshopping and a lot of talking that still needs to happen, because if we find ourselves at under 6 to under 12s, we are talking of winning. We have missed something, because I feel that should be a space where it's about festivals. It's about boys enjoying football and playing more football. And with COVID, the past 2 years, our boys have been affected hard, because if you look at it properly, boys have missed most to 18 months of their development. So obviously, in that bridging that gap, we need to have a proper workshop to say, then how do we deal with that part? Are they playing enough football? Because I mean, GDL only played 15 games. So you are saying a boy at 19 is playing 15 games and in a year. It's a discussion that we need to, as a country and as a SAFA as well as technical directors, to come down and say, how do we bridge those gaps? How do we look at the whole generational shift of players? I mean, you look at under 23, the Olympic team. It's people are quiet, but let's be honest, where are they coming from for the next year? Where are we getting the under 23s from? Because in our glad, they're not under 23. They're not be qualifying. We are looking for 2001s, 2002s. Where are those players playing? And it's a serious discussion that has to take place, because right now with the Olympic, I'm worried, because if you look at those boys, where are we going to find them? And we need to discuss and say, what programs do we put in place? What tournaments do we have that will sustain these boys and help them in their progress and development as they go?
Coach Mathew, you said a mouthful, and I think very insightful as well. And thank you very much for your time, and good luck with your game tomorrow.
Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.